In today's Flight Sim News video, I discuss the latest Flight Sim 2024 update, new aircraft releases, and everything in between. So once you've very kindly subscribed, we can get right into the latest Flight Sim news from the Flight Simulator world. Within the last few days, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 has seen a big update. Sim Update 3, released after months in beta for PC and Xbox, brings significant quality of life improvements to what can be described as a very temperamental sim. The highlight features are reduced VRAM usage across the board in the name of stability. To really experience this, I recommend you clear your sim cache and make sure your settings have not been reset by the update, as I do find this often happens. From my experience, there is a very clear improvement in the stability of the sim, especially when flying over or into demanding areas. There's now the ability to download locally your scenery and aircraft, and I'll be honest, while I haven't tried it myself, it does look very simple to do, and it will be a game changer for those of you that do not have access to the internet speeds that the flight sim demands, improving stability and loading times. Of course, there's been hundreds of bug fixes and behind the scenes improvements, with VR receiving specific focus. I will say there's also far less ghosting when using the inbuilt frame generation, although I'm unsure if this is just from the most recent NVIDIA driver update. Inbuilt air traffic control has also seen some extensive changes, including support for stars and more accurate clearances, as well as some new requests that you can now request from air traffic control. On a very unrelated note, customizing controls is a far smoother experience now, with no long waits in between when swapping presets, which I have to say was absolutely infuriating at times. As to be expected, many of the individual aircraft have received some tender love and care from their own developers. It seems to be that when the sim is running well for one person, it's gone and broken itself for another. Hopefully that's not the case, so do let me know in the comments. In my experience, 2024 is really getting there now. I haven't gone back to 2020 for months, so a very big well done to the Flight Sim team, at least from what I've seen. How has Sim Update 3 been for you? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Is it more stable? Hopefully, I'd love to hear down below. With this update, simmers on Flight Sim 2024 have also received a brand new aircraft, the last of the 3 so-called make good aircraft, which was a sort of apology gift from the Flight Sim team to make amends for the troubles of the initial release. This time it's a rather cool helicopter, the Eurocopter EC135T1 by Nemeth Designs. Now, as someone that works with helicopters all day for my day job, this is a very welcome addition. Here in the UK, the 135 is used most notably by our National Police Air Service, so it's quite cool to have the ability to fly it around. It's a very welcome addition, as I said, but I have seen some people on the internet complain about the flight dynamics, and to be fair, it is incredibly easy to fly, unlike most helis in the sim. So whether or not that says something about the flight dynamics, I do not know. That being said, I do quite like it. It looks good. There's a wide array of variants and liveries, and for completely free, I'm not going to complain about it, but I would say don't go expecting this to be the pinnacle of helicopter simulation. This twin-engine helicopter is incredibly versatile, fun and quick, cruising at 140 knots, and is available now here on Flight Sim 2024. A new release at last from SimWorks Studios with their GA8 Airvan, now out for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 with a 2024 release set down the line. This is a rather rare but flexible aircraft from Australia, with 260 of these aircraft built in real life, capacity for 8 people on board, a max takeoff weight of 1.8 metric tons, and a cruise speed of 120 knots. This is certainly a unique plane to have in your virtual hangar. I'm a very big fan of SimWorks Studios products. The most notable is probably the Kodiak, and this one is now out for $30 US on the marketplace. An interesting update now, in 2023, pilots released their rendition of the de Havilland -7 in collaboration with the aforementioned SimWorks Studios, and I think most of you would agree that it was quite a bit of a letdown. Well, I've got some good news here, as pilots are working on version 2 of this aircraft, a complete rebuild from the ground up for Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, based entirely on a real airframe, Charlie Golf Uniform Alpha Tango, operated by Canadian airline Air Tindy. Now, I don't have much more information than what was provided on Facebook here, but a comprehensive rebuild of this aircraft can only be seen as good news, and I'll bring you more information when we have some. An update from the Iris team, who have released a plethora of aircraft for the Sim on 2020, from PC-21 to the Jabiru. They've hinted at an upcoming new series of products designed to be, and I quote, more accessible and console friendly. Now, they've been a bit vague here with what that means, but an F-22 seems to be on the cards, alongside some undisclosed products they've revisited from the past. They will of course be retaining and continuing to develop their study level lineup for us serious simmers, but that does mean I think they're going to go down the more arcadey route of some of their products, designing them to be used on Xbox with relative ease. But the fact that they're still working on study level aircraft means that this doesn't bother me, and I think more people you can get into simming, the better. Hopefully I'm right and this is a good decision. A quick channel update now before we wrap up with our final news segment. In a matter of weeks, I'll be commencing my ATPL theory study in preparation for my written commercial pilot exams next year. It's daunting but incredibly exciting, and long-time viewers of the channel will know it's another step closer to my goal. Unfortunately, that does mean the frequency of my videos will decrease, but I have no intention of stopping. I just think balancing a day job with YouTube, with studies, with life will be a bit squeezy. That being said, I will upload when I can. It really does mean I'm not going anywhere, and a big thank you to all of you for all your support over the last few years. Finally, Aerosoft are aiming for an autumn or fall, for my American viewers, release of their Airbus A330-900 NEO. To be completely honest with you all, I'm relatively unfazed by a new A330, but one thing is for sure, this will be better than Aerosoft's last attempt at the Airbus A330, which was the CO. Compared to the latter attempt, we can expect to see some really quite good systems here, fully implemented VNav and LNAV logic, onboard airport navigation systems, which are the inbuilt moving taxi maps, separate MCDUs alongside other high-spec features. Aerosoft have promised it will be much better than their last attempt. Unlike the A340 they are also working on, I don't believe they're being helped out by Tolis here, and Aerosoft have already said themselves that there will be some new features outstanding after the initial release to be released further down the line. So I do think there's some ambiguity there. Are you excited for Aerosoft's second punt at the A330, the A330-900 NEO, which will be coming for 2020 and 2024? Do let me know in the comments. And on that note, it brings us to the end of today's video. I hope this has kept you as up to date with everything in the flight sim world as possible. Thank you as always for watching. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed. Until then, I'll see you soon and goodbye.